It looks super tight, Andrew, between the Loeb car and Timmy's car at the moment.
Sam, I'm surprised they've got nothing on the belts there to hold the belts up high. Let's watch the switch on board. So Catie reaches in for the crutch belts, up towards the harness straps at the top.
Jensen's car had a second mechanic on the other side doing the belts on the right-hand side, and here we've only got one, but that was a super quick change, actually.
I spoke to Timmy, me and Jenny both spoke to Timmy and Catie via Zoom a couple of weeks back, didn't we? And they'd been practicing the switch, Jenny, and they got it down to under 25 seconds, so they're a little bit disappointed about the 45-second rule.
Yeah, you could see there was a system, there was a way they were doing it that they practiced time and time out, so they knew what they were doing. Right, Catie hits the drive button and off she goes. This is her first lap. So we saw Timmy Hansen setting a really good time. Now, the part of Extreme, which is fascinating, is this is a team sport. Now she's got to go out and do her part. So she knows what the standard is. They've spoken about it. They've looked with their engineers and mechanics at all the different lines. Timmy will find this incredibly hard, watching his car go off.
Interesting, just noticed down the switch zone, the team had a tyre there on the deck ready to go, and that will be in case Timmy's detected that he's picked up a slow puncture or even completely ripped the tyre off the rim. You know, with a car like this, it's not like single-seaters. We get one of these cars back on 3 wheels easily. You know, like to a rally driver, if you can drag it back and get another wheel on it, you go again. There's a limit to that, but they had a wheel and tyre there ready to go. So it'd be interesting if anybody does get a puncture on a first lap to see just how quickly they could get that done as well, because I think only the 3 people, so the 2 drivers and the other technician, can touch the car in that switch zone.
Wow.
So that would be another element to this. But on board with Catie Munnings, all her experience coming from rallying. Here we go. So over on the left-hand side, yeah, you can see torque and traction, the amount of kilowatts which are being delivered. On the right-hand side, you can see the speed. We were up at 130 kilometres an hour just a moment ago. Got to head in towards that gate over on the left. So Catie took a different line through there, came in nice and wide, which gives her a good exit. That's the kind of dry riverbed up at the hairpin. And now she's coming up towards the big drop. I'm kind of hoping we might stay on board for the big drop here, so but we'll see. Look, there's a steep climb, and then it gets narrow, Jenny. When we watched that first onboard, we saw Timo Scheider's recce lap. It was like, seriously? Wow.
Yeah, Catie just choosing to stay out of those deep ridges that have already started to form, which are going to be such a characteristic of this weekend. She'll make it up to the top of the hill through that narrow gated section.
There,
this is where she mustn't make a mistake. She slows slightly, just going to the right. She's got to fit in that gate.
She got low.
And then down she goes. I think she was a little slow there.
Same mistake as Arlen Kodlinski. She turned in too early at the first gate, and that meant that the camber of the road pulled her off to the right-hand side. She then had to wait on the throttle, because with the sand, if you get on the throttle early, you pick up the wheel spin and the car drops down the slope. So needed to just take a little bit higher line through that first gate. Look at Catie as well, very Petter Solberg with the mouth there. You know, like, it's fascinating to watch drivers. Sam, this is what we don't see with you guys with your fancy full-face crash helmets on, you know, but everybody's got their concentration face, haven't they?
I'd hate to see my facial expressions while driving. But that mistake has cost her vital seconds. When she left, it was super close, around 2 seconds between Loeb's car and Hansen's car. Now the gap is up to nearly 14 seconds. So let's see if Catie can bring it back in again. So
that mistake probably then 6, 7, 8 seconds maybe, but the same, of course, for Arlen Kodlinski, but then they had a stop out on track. So I guess now it's about how, whether she can match the pace of Gutierrez over the rest of the lap. There's Timmy in the command centre now watching on.
Interesting that both of the drivers for Andretti United have actually had their visors up. We can just see that Katie's struggling with that car just in that sand. Is drifting off to the left a little bit with the tracks, carefully past that boulder. Gosh, she was close.
Takes the left-hand line, keeps it in tight. This is the bumpy section that we saw Timmy flat out through, and Katie's very quick through there as well, keeping it smooth now. Got to get in tight. Right in the middle of that gate is a big clump of undergrowth. The car's got enough ride height to get over that, but if you hit that at an angle, you know, you can be risking damaging suspension or potentially the car digging in a roll. Look at the dust getting kicked up. That's the super fine stuff, and look at the visibility. This is the sort of point where, Sam, you do not want to be behind. Oh, backing it in through here. Look at the bumps. She's got, I think, the right rear puncture.
She's got a puncture.
The right rear's gone down on the car. You could see it flailing about. I wonder why the dust was so much. So Catie Munnings now going to have to manage that puncture all the way back. Timmy's clocked it as well in the engineers. I'm almost sure that the right rear is down.
What's that going to feel like in the car? What's she going to now have to deal with?
Well, first of all, she's got to look after the car, because with a puncture like that, it is sand, isn't it? You can see the amount of sand that's coming up from it. The bodywork doesn't matter. The bodywork can all come off if it needs to, but she's got to manage not breaking the car on the return to the paddock, because with a broken wheel, say a rally car will get back. Look at this, spectacular pictures. Catie's still on a big push. She's doing brilliantly. If she can get this back, that's a puncture, Sam. What? Not even halfway round the lap. So come on, Catie, get it back to the paddock.
Doing a phenomenal job. You know, in a GT car and a single-seater, it's impossible to push when you have a puncture. You have to slow right down to 20, 30 kilometers an hour, and it is very much survival, just get home. But she is absolutely giving it everything here.
Get in. This is a brilliant drive by Munnings. It really is. That, say, the rear right is down on the car. You can see from the way it's flailing the sand up into the air, but she's going to get that car back and lose the least time she can possible. There you can see the car crabbing. One thing that you could do, if you got stuck in the dunes with a puncture on the rear right, that could cause you a stoppage. But I think she's through the steepest of those sections now, and she'll just try and carry the momentum. But Sam, she's going to be accounting for this sideways movement in every approach to every corner.
She is just in survival mode right now, Andrew. But she's pushing, but it's... Oh,
come on, Catie.
The tyre is off the rim.
It is off the rim. She's on the lock stops both ways round now. She's just got a few metres to go to make it to the finish line. One more gate to go. Come on, Catie, bring it home. Through the flags to the left-hand side. She's going to gun it up towards the line. It's a hero drive for me from Catie Munnings with a puncture from halfway round. Brings the car home. Brilliant drive. Fantastic. They've lost time with a puncture. Definitely the tiny mistake at the top of the hill, but to bring that car back is absolutely fantastic.
That really is something special that she's done right there.
Timmy, you started off with an incredible lap. Walk me through yours first.
Yeah, my lap was really good. It's so fast, the track, and yeah, my adrenaline coming in was like maximum. But I think when Catie left the box here, she had a flat tire. I didn't feel anything on my lap, so it must have been a slow puncture. But then going off onto here, she had a puncture the whole way around, and she drove like a hero.